It is Wednesday, and our guest is Max Egan from Queensland, Australia. We're talking about his book entitled Earth's Forbidden Secrets, Searching for the Past. It's about 250 pages, and it is some deep stuff. It will shake the way you think of history. And I really do encourage you to check it out. It's not for sale, folks. It is free, and it's at his incredible website at www.thecrowhouse.com. And Max, we were talking about some of these, or we were just about these anomalies that the experts just won't acknowledge and actually run from. One of them that is in there are those stone carvings of dinosaurs. How do you explain that?
Maybe the Ica stones you're talking about. Well, that's the thing. There's not a lot of way of explaining them. That's the thing. It's like 15,000, some 15,000 of these stones found by a totally uneducated villager or farmer in a little village in a place called Ica, which is about 300 kilometers out of Lima, I think, in Peru. And these stones have got the most amazing carvings on them. They've got carvings of dinosaurs, of people riding dinosaurs. They've got carvings of comets coming into the Earth. They've got carvings of different continents on the Earth. And a lot of the things that they've got on there are genetically correct. Like they've got certain prehistoric fish that are carved on there. They're all genetically correct. Now, this is an uneducated farmer who can't even read. So it's very, very unlikely that these things are forged, because you'd have to have a reasonable sort of a knowledge of biology to be able to have done half of these things. Absolutely amazing. Truly one of the greatest enigmas of all are the Ica stones. And the man actually found them lying around in a riverbed. It was a cave, and it sort of washed a whole lot of these stones out into the riverbed, so he started selling them at the markets. And he was promptly arrested by the Peruvian authorities, because they thought they'd get lots of tourists coming around wanting to dig the place up, basically. And then he came back out of jail and said, "Oh, look, I faked them all, it wasn't me." But you've got to understand that he said that because it's illegal to remove artifacts from Peru. If he'd been caught selling artifacts, he would have gone to jail.
Yeah.
He said, "I faked them." But there's 15,000 of these things, and he couldn't possibly have faked them. If he'd faked them, then he would have had to have done at least a stone every day for his entire life since he was about 3 years old. It's just impossible for him to have done that. Absolutely enormous volume of these things, though. There's a man called Dr. Cabrera who started purchasing them and started arranging them into sort of a library with different themes. And there's been a lot of people study them, and so far no one's come up with a logical explanation. These things have been tested to see how, because you can test the depth of the carving, you can test the erosion and the type of chemical processes that have happened to the stone over time. It develops a sort of a film on it, so you can see how old these stones are. And these are very, very old, these stones. And they have not been carved by an uneducated farmer. It's just impossible. Flying reptiles, all sorts of things on there. Medical procedures, they've got heart surgery shown on them, all sorts of, absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing.
They certainly are. I'm looking at, you have a wealth of beautiful photographs in this. I just dare people to check it out, because and you know, not only Max, we are aware of the fact that everybody signs their name differently. These stones are obviously done throughout time and different people, because the artistic depictions of the dinosaurs and of animals. There's one here that I'm looking of a monkey and such. They are radically different from each other. So I totally agree with you that this was not done by an uneducated farmer. There's another one that has really piqued my interest in your book, and that is the maps that depict the continents basically correctly located. We've been told that people didn't sail the oceans and they didn't map until the last few centuries, but here these are, and they've been around for a very long time.
Oh, very much so. Like the Piri Reis map you're probably referring to, that's 1513, which was done by a Turkish admiral called Piri Reis. That actually shows the coastline of South America and Antarctica and Africa, and it's got the Falkland Islands on there with the correct longitude mark. Now, we didn't discover longitude until in the late 1800s. So how this map was around in 1513 is quite amazing. And there's some other maps as well, like I think it's the Borsch map of around 1730, and that shows Antarctica, and it shows an accurate depiction of Antarctica as two islands. It shows certain riverbeds and things that we've found are on there now. Like we can do soundings of the ice, and we've gone down and we can do soundings and we can see what the landscape is below the ice. And everything that's on this map is all there. It's all correctly shown. Now, this shows Antarctica without ice, which is pretty remarkable for that to happen. That's 300-400 years ago. So absolutely incredible stuff. It's been speculated that Christopher Columbus had a map of showing America. It wasn't just stumbling blindly in the dark. And also Captain Cook, when he came here to discover Australia, he had a map bringing him here. There is actually speculation that Cook came to Australia and had to arrive at a certain point at a certain time to track the movements of Venus, which is a whole other story. That's something that I'm actually investigating at the moment. I'm going up to the landing point next week to suss out a few things about that. But yeah, these maps are absolutely incredible, and they prove that there's been a whole history that we don't know about. Otherwise, these maps simply couldn't exist, and they do. So yeah, there you go.
And that's the story throughout this incredible book. I'm on page 36 and then 37, Max, and you have on here ancient nanotechnology, question mark. I don't know if this is made out of brass or gold or what it is, but it shows on here small spiral-shaped objects that measure 1/10,000th of an inch. And these are complex things. These are insane.
Yeah, these are incredibly small, absolutely incredibly small, found in Russia in the Ural Mountains. Absolutely incredible. And these things are tiny, like you're saying, 1/10,000th of an inch, absolutely tiny. And they're intricately made. It's little spiraling things. A lot of them are made out of things like molybdenum, tungsten, stuff like that. Really rare metals, not natural metals. And
yeah, that's page 36. Let's take a break, but while we're out there, folks, check out page 37. It's a spark plug, 500,000 years old. We'll be back in a minute. If you want to overcome the New World Order, the first business at hand is to kill the lies that they feed us. And one of the lies is history. They just condition our minds through history and many other things, but it is amazing. I'm talking with Max Egan from Australia, and he has a book called Earth's Forbidden Secrets. It's 250 pages. It's for free, and it is the most profound, interesting book I've seen in many, many years. It's at his website, thecrowhouse.com. I suggest you check it out, and I am on page 38. I tell you what, Max, I could talk an entire show on one page, and we're having to go through here rather quickly to get so much material through. On page 38 here, there's a hammer that is embedded in a rock, and the wooden handle has been petrified. There's just, it's hard to explain other than that is very, very old.
Oh, very much, and it's a modern tool. That's the thing. It's a modern tool. They didn't have hammers like that 1,000 years ago. So how did that get there? It takes a very, very long time to petrify something. And here we have a modern hand tool that's petrified. And there's actually fossilized handprints as well. I mean, a human handprint that's fossilized. These things take millions of years to form. Like 300 million years. So it's just, there's no way it should be there, but it is. And that in itself, even if you could find one of these artifacts, you'd have to question history. But there is so many of them that it becomes blatantly obvious that the history that they teach us is completely and utterly false. And they know it. I mean, if I can figure this out, well, they can figure it out. It's utterly false. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we're coming to a conclusion, maybe we ought to just go ahead and say it, Max, is that human civilization dates back millions of years.
Oh, very much, John. Millions and millions of years. Absolutely. We've gone through this cycle that we're going through now, time and time again. It happens every time we cross the ecliptic. They have the quickening. They remove all the history from everyone so that no one can deal with the changes that occur during the crossing